Hello, my friends. Today we are going to talk about a drama thriller film called Awake from 2007. Let's get started. Clay Beresford is a billionaire. He is spending a beautiful morning with his girlfriend Sam. Then they pack up and she drives him to his mother, Lilith, and resents the fact that her boyfriend spends very little time with her. The boyfriend wakes up his mother and they have breakfast together. At work, they discuss the affairs of their family business, and Clay warns that he will not be able to attend an important meeting because he has a doctor's appointment. Clay hasn't been friends with his surgeon Jack for long, but he trusts him completely. At first, they go fishing together, and Clay talks about his difficult situation. He says that his wedding to Sam is almost ready, but he has to hide it from his mother. Then they go to the hospital, and Jack complains to a friend that they are getting too many malpractice lawsuits. Following these conversations, the two men end up in the operating room, and Dr. Jack explains to Clay the seriousness and riskiness of his upcoming heart transplant. Clay Beresford is seriously ill, and the doctor advises him to get his affairs in order, to live for himself, to tell his mother about his upcoming wedding, and finally to get married. After all, he may not have much time. Sam comes to Clay's workplace, but he walks past her as if they were strangers. He gets in the car with his mother, and they discuss the upcoming heart transplant. Dr. Jonathan is the best surgeon in the country, and he offers his services, but Clay stands his ground and doesn't even want to hear anything, because he already has a doctor. In the evening, there is a Halloween celebration where Clay meets representatives of the corporation. They inquire about Clay's health, and he assures them that despite his weak heart, he has a strong mind, and promises them complete security and a long-term job. After the party, Clay can't sleep and goes out to talk to his mother. He brings her the good news that he was able to close a deal, but he still doesn't dare tell her the truth about his relationship with Sam. She works as Lilith's personal assistant and goes home after her work is done. Clay can't just let his girlfriend go. He catches up with her on the street near her house, and standing in the rain, she tells him everything that has been on her mind. She is offended by the way she is treated. Then Clay decides to return home together and confess everything to his mother. But as expected, Lilith is not happy with her son's choice, and even tries to give him an ultimatum. But when they leave, Clay feels sick in the yard, and then he boldly asks his girlfriend to become his wife. Later, Dr. Harper helps to urgently organize the wedding and invites a priest. Two happy people in love exchange vows and perform the long-awaited wedding ceremony. On their wedding night, Clay's phone rings, and they realize that a donor has arrived. The nurse informs them that the donor heart will be ready soon, and says that the young man's mother is also here. Lilith again suggests to her son that he should be operated on by a highly qualified, experienced surgeon she has known for 15 years, not by his unfamiliar friend who has been sued several times. But Clay doesn't take anything her mother and her friend say seriously and refuses their offer. The mother tries to insist, but her son trusts his friend with his life. It's time for the operation. Sam holds her husband's hand and gently reassures him, telling him that after his recovery she dreams of buying a house by the sea and spending time there together. Then she kisses her beloved, and he is taken to the surgery. There is a slight change of plans in the operating room, and Dr. Larry takes over instead of the assigned doctor. But the operation cannot be cancelled, and everyone gets down to business. With the new staff in place, Dr. Larry administers anesthesia to Clay. The young man closes his eyes, but he has many thoughts in his head, and he is unable to fall asleep. He realizes this too late, when the blade in Dr. Harper's hands is already piercing his body. Clay tries to distract himself from thinking about the pain, because he still can't scream or move. Remembering his beloved, he manages to distract himself a little. But the sweet memories are interrupted by unpleasant ones, and at this time the guy's chest is already being opened. He again returns to the memories of his wife and recalls their acquaintance. In the waiting room, a doctor flirts with her, but she lets him know that she is married by showing him the ring on her finger. Lilith, who is sitting nearby, sees this and is surprised, as she did not know about her son's wedding. At this time, Clay's new heart has already been delivered, and there is very little time left before the operation is over. Sam begs Lilith to bless her marriage to Clay, and the woman begins to treat her a little better, accepting that her son has already made his choice. Meanwhile, in the operating room, Dr. Jack Harper lets Dr. Larry get some rest. And when he comes out, Jack says he's not sure he can handle the surgery because Clay is still conscious. He hears what the doctors are talking about, and their conversation alarms him because his friend Jack Harper suspects Dr. Larry of spying and laments that he doesn't want to go to jail. And his colleague asks Harper to just give him a shot in the heart and be done with it. Clay listens to this and realizes that he will soon be in the morgue. He tries to move, tears off the bandages and needles, and gets up from the operating table, but realizes that he is just a soul, and his body is under the scalpel of intruders. He wants to find out what his friend is up to. At this time, Sam asks Dr. Larry how the surgery is going and how her husband is feeling. She notices a flask in the doctor's pocket and realizes that he is not an employee of the hospital, but just a visiting specialist. This makes her suspicious, and she goes to the operating room to see for herself how things are going. Clay is relieved to think that Sam will now realize everything and intervene in this lawlessness, but he is horrified that his wife is in cahoots with the criminals. Sam stays in the operating room to control the process herself, but Clay's soul hears her conversation with her partners. She tells Jack that she changed her name and married Clay so that his insurance money would cover their lawsuit payments. Clay learns at this point, thanks to a photo on the wall, that Sam was also a surgeon at the local hospital and worked with Harper. Jack refuses to take part in their plan because he is afraid of prison and does not want to kill his friend. But Sam insists on finishing what they started and reminds him that with Clay's money they will become rich, and heart transplants are always risky, and people die anyway. Clay cannot believe what is happening. He is disappointed in his beloved and realizes how wrong he was to trust his life to an unknown surgeon. He regrets not listening to his mother. When his heart is removed, he is torn apart by pain. Jack stands over the boy's body and asks him to give him a donor heart, but he is forced to take an injection first, and only then continue the process of heart transplantation. Dr. Harper tries to press on the traitor's feelings, saying that the glue really loved her, but the girl doesn't care about that. Tears flow from the boy's eyes, and she turns to the boy's mother, who senses something is wrong. In the operating room, no one notices that Clay's eyes are in tears. Meanwhile, the operation is coming to an end when Dr. Harper realizes that the new heart is not beating. He tries to resuscitate his friend, but nothing works. Together with the doctor, they go out to break the terrible news to the family. Lilith hears that Clay's body did not accept the donor heart, and she reacts badly because she is sure that Harper could not cope with the complex operation. Lilith feels guilty for not insisting on the surgery under Dr. Nayer's supervision. Later, Dr. Larry explains to her that Clay is still alive, but his life is being kept alive by a machine, and the mother must write a refusal to artificially keep her son alive, as there is no longer a donor, and the search for one is complicated by the fact that Clay has a rare blood type. But instead of signing the refusal, Lilith decides to give him life once again and sacrifices her heart for him. Dr. Larry finds Clay's mother dead, and the new Dr. Nayer orders Lilith to be prepared for surgery immediately. He realizes that Jack Harper has deliberately tampered with the donor heart and threatens him and his team with the police. At this time, the soul of Lilith meets the soul of Clay and tells her son that his wife has betrayed herself. Lilith found letters in Sam's bag from nursing school under a different name, and she realized that she could not believe her. But before she took the pills, she called her friend Mayer, who is now working hard to bring Clay back to life. Meanwhile, the fake doctors try to escape, but the police manage to detain them. Jack gets into a fight with Sam, who wants to set him up, but she finds herself in a trap. The transplanted heart is beating, and Clay's chest is already sewn shut, but the son's soul wants to stay with the soul of his beloved mother. However, the loving mother asks her young, handsome, intelligent, and successful son to live. She brings back memories of the painful day of his father's death and how she protected him from it. Lilith apologizes and says she is proud of her son. After that, Clay's soul says goodbye to his mother and returns to his body. Clay comes out of anesthesia, and the movie ends. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klonsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.